Public School Superintendent Jeff Beal.
You think a snow day is a day off? That's entertaining.
Yeah. No, it's a day off from school, but not a day off from work.
No, not really. Can I just say I hate calling snow days. I think I hate it as much as parents hate it when I call snow days. There's just never a we're trying to predict the weather, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I always like to see the storm right in the thick of it, so I know what's coming. And today we're in the mix of, is it rain? Is it going to be freezing rain? And it's coming down, but if it was just a degree or two colder right now, it'd be a real mess out there. So we'll always err on the side of caution. A lot of people don't know this, but we talk as superintendents around the county. Everybody's kind of watching out for each other because our kids are coming from their districts, their kids are coming from our district, and so a lot of times that travel in between districts is something we also take into consideration. But nobody really likes to cancel school or if we've got that snow day, I'm always good for it. But about the third or fourth one, I think I'm over it.
Yeah, well, as it stands right now, it's not bad yet, but it's still predicted to be pretty bad.
It would take a degree or two right now.
Yeah,
I'm out there when I'm on my way in. There's freezing rain coming down. It's 1 degree or 2 the other way, and we're going to be in a mess. So.
Well, it's your number one concern is the safety of the kids and the families and the faculty and staff. And over the last 2-3 weeks, we've had a couple of very, very tragic incidents and some unsettling things happen as well.
Yeah, we should probably talk about the swatting incident that happened 2 weeks ago up at Jackson High School, and that was, that's one of those really genuinely traumatic experiences, and at the same time, there's things that we learn and build off, and we make we build the positive into it. But what happened was an individual, and I don't know who because they're not local. I know that the FBI is investigating it. And they weren't targeting Jackson Public Schools or Jackson High School. They targeted schools across the state, from Portage and Battle Creek and Okemos and Jackson and Cadillac, ironically, was closed that day. So when they got their swatting call, they're going, really? Because there's nobody in school today. And we make light of it, but the idea here is let's scare the community. Let's call, and it's an anonymous Google call number, if you will, that calls 911. They don't call the school. They call 911 and say, hey, something bad is happening at the school. 911 responds, and we want 911 to respond. And I'm going to give this shout out because while I'm on the phone, 911 calls me and says, hey, Jeff, we've got this call that just came in and something bad is potentially happening in the high school. And while I'm on the phone with 911, literally that quick, the cops start rolling in behind me. And I want to say we had officers from the state police in Blackman and Leone, and obviously Jackson Police Department. The building literally is surrounded within seconds. And I'm going to say this, unlike what you may have seen on TV in other parts of the world, here, our police department, they go right in. They walk right through the doors. They're coming into the building. If there's a bad actor in the building, if there's something happening in the building, they're going to stop it right now, in as quick a time as possible. And I'm thrilled with that. To be fair with you, I want all of our kids and teachers and staff and community to feel safe that Jackson Police Department, certainly in coordination with our local law enforcement, is doing a great job. And we do some post-operations or post-incident conversations, both internally and with the police department, to talk about what we could do better. Fire and rescue service, fire and ambulance, they were there to support us, but they also did a nice job cordoning off the area so that we didn't have a mass of people kind of descending on Jackson High. And that makes the police job a lot easier. But there were a lot of tense moments as, I'm in lockdown. My daughter's right across the street. I can't go over there and jump in and see what's going on. I'm in lockdown too. My wife teaches over at Parkside. She doesn't know what's going on. We got teachers all across the district whose kids are at Jackson High, or whose spouses are at Jackson High, et cetera. who they don't know anymore either. And we're waiting tense seconds. And we knew relatively early on that it was a hoax, but you still have to let the police go through and clear the building. And I think from the time the call came in to the time that we had the building cleared, it was, I don't know, 12 or 13 minutes. The whole thing was over with really like that.
And it's amazing, really. The building is massive and cavernous, and it's easy to get lost in that building.
Well, we've done, so one thing a lot of folks don't know is Jackson Police Department and Jackson Public Schools have done a lot of training together. So we have their officers in our building as our student resource officers, but more than that, we allow them to use our facilities for various training opportunities. So that gives them a little bit of an advantage when coming into our building. They know the lay of the land, so to speak. But that was that was without a doubt a traumatic experience, and I am, like you, hopeful that they do catch the individual or individuals responsible, and candidly we prosecute them to the full extent of the law. This is no game, and it's designed to truly scare, to terrorize a community, to expense a lot of dollars and resources through the law enforcement who get called off other places and have to come and respond. But again, I think we learned a lot about what we want to change for next time. And I say that knowing that we don't want there to ever be a next time. The police learned a lot of things about what they would do differently, and some of that communication that we get back and forth. Those are the pieces that we value right now. I'll take the silver lining. We could have never got a training exercise that realistic. So as scary as it is, I think we're gonna work to be better tomorrow.
Well, hopefully a lot of changes are going to be made in certain areas. And one, you've mentioned it was a Google anonymous, through a Google phone system, anonymous call. And when a company like Google is advertising, hey, you can make anonymous calls through our service and through our company, that's going to stop.
Well, it's not even just Google, right? I mean, there are apps right now that we can go to today if we wanted, and we can buy time. I don't even need to have a phone number or a bank of phone numbers for my business. I just want to buy a bank of numbers so I can push out 1,000 calls in the next 30 minutes. And maybe I'm doing it for marketing or advertising or something that's not nefarious. But we can go rent time or buy time. And so the layers of how some of this, I'm blown away. Again, that's why the FBI is working on it.
Yeah, well, I hope they get
because they've got cyber, security to be able to track that down.
Well, I know it's not realistic to eliminate the ability to make anonymous calls because there's so many ways that it can be done, but it's unbelievable that people can get away with that.
Well, I think they trace it back to the IP address, and I think the FBI can trace it all the way back to the originating computer. But
let's hope.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
I'm not doing the investigation. The FBI is.
All right. You have a lot of graduates of Jackson High that are students at Michigan State University, and just last week, another terror.
Yeah,
event.
that right there, that really compounded things for us. It made it very real, and I don't. We say thoughts and prayers, but the truth is we hope that this never happens. We feel we were part of that terror experience. Dozens of kids from Jackson High School go to Michigan State every year. Our families have kids up there. The night when that's happening, I'm calling and I'm texting and I'm messaging friends and family who have children up there. I use an example. We had a staff member at Parkside whose husband and son are at Jackson High School. So the week before, they're at Jackson High in our swatting incident, and then her other son is up at Michigan State University. So in this period, she's the hits just keep on coming, and so you can't underestimate what this really, or how this impacts, the variety of staff. And it's not just, I really feel bad. I'm for the families who didn't get somebody to come home, and certainly for all of the students who lived through that experience. I hope we find a better way.
Yeah, parents from Jackson were flying up 127 last Monday
Well, and
night.
it's not just Jackson. This really impacts
The whole,
the entire state, but even beyond. But this is a reality that we need to change as a whole. How we secure our facilities. We've talked about it at Jackson Public Schools. We talked about it. That's how you get in and out of buildings. I hate to say it, it doesn't look like it did when I went to school. We need to think differently about how we harden our facilities to protect ourselves.
All right, well, let's talk about some good things.
It feels like that's been a heavy couple minutes there, Bart.
Yeah. Well, bowling. Let's talk about the Viking bowlers. Incredible success this winter on pretty much almost all your sports.
Yeah, it's a great year to be a Viking. I wish I could tell you. We've got there's bowling coming up this week. Is it Thursday? They're bowling Thursday. I'm sorry, I don't have.
I think so.
The dates all in front of me. It feels like a busy week. Bowling,
Yes,
I think
Friday and Saturday. Friday and
Saturday for
at
bowling.
Kalamazoo.
We've got swimming coming up this week. We've got.
You're hosting the conference.
I know we've got a facility that's meant for that. I got to tell you that pool over there is gorgeous, and so without a doubt, you got a lot of pictures up on bowling, and you need to recognize the fact that we've got a wonderful team. It's co-ed, and these guys are capable of reaching states. Swimming is again, they're going to compete in the SEC White this weekend. Divers, it's fun to have divers, but this is a really powerful swimming team. I give Coach Joe Zesson a lot of credit. He's doing some wonderful things in the pool and the facility. And remember, we built this facility to be a training facility. We built this facility to really compete at a collegiate level, and you'd have a hard time finding a better facility in the state.
Yeah.
And there are some really nice ones out there, but I think you start to see some of that come around as well.
Well, there's plenty of spectator space, and you're invited to come. It starts at noon both Friday and Saturday at Jackson High in the Aquatics Center.
Yep. We've got a couple things coming up too, though. I don't want to miss. Band Festival is also this week. If you get an opportunity to come up to Jackson High School on Saturday, the bands will be playing during festival, and I hope you'll be able to come up and listen to them. This is their opportunity to truly shine. This is a performance not like a concert, not like something that they prepare for mom and dad or for grandpa and grandma. This is something that they prepare for to show off, what kind of musicians they really are. This is a fabulous opportunity. And so we invite the community to come out and support the bands for that.
Starts Friday at 9 a.m. and goes all day long into the evening. The Symphony Band from Parkside is Friday night at 7. The Varsity Band from Parkside is Friday at 5. And then all day long, plus Saturday, even more.
Yeah.
So,
so again, I hope you'll come out and join us there. And then we've got Ambassadors Dinner for the first time in a few years that'll be live. I mean, we've done the online auction, and the online auction will still be available, but we're to be able to get together with the dinner and talk to our valedictorians and hear about where they're going, to see the corporate sponsor scholarships, and there's a dozen of those at least, and these are scholarships that companies give specific for going into to fields, and it could be a skilled trade or immediately into the workforce. So there's some neat things going on that way. It's a great dinner and auction opportunity, though. It's a huge fundraiser where the money goes directly to kids.
yesterday, Principal Monica Pierce again pledged she was making pound cakes for one of the winners of the auction, the silent auction. And I'm curious, what are you going to make?
I'll make reservations. How's that?
All right. But some unique, one-of-a-kind items that you could win at this, and I always have a great time at this event. I hope you can make it as well. Get your tickets. And also, well, last night the boys basketball team, they beat Chelsea. Oh my gosh, what a game. And now they are on top of, is it a share, two or three-way share of first place in the SEC?
It is. Our team has done really well. They've had a really nice season. I think we were scheduled to host districts at Jackson High School, and probably should talk a little bit about construction. But because of our locker room upgrade delays, we're not able to do that. So we were hoping to be able to host districts this year for basketball, and I think it'll probably be up at Mason. Certainly, we'll go into districts, and you'll have to still beat Holt, and you'll have to beat Okemos. But the reality is that we've got a really fast team. They play well as a team. And when they get out on the court and do their thing, they're very capable. They can play with anybody.
They are.
So we're excited about seeing what they do coming up.
I saw a little bit of the JV game, girls basketball last night, and the JV team, they're amazing, and not a lot of height. But
I don't know how that is, and the reality is, I would say the same thing about our boys team. Again, not a lot of height. But again, they're very skilled, very quick, very athletic, and a lot of that goes to some of the culture that comes with those programs. You take the players we've got and you mold them into a team, and that's what athletics is really about. What basketball specifically is, when we look at a team sport, it's how do we create and optimize the best outcome of the individuals who are there. And I think that when you look at both girls and boys, that's what you see. You really see, them taking advantage of each other's skills to create something really special.
Well, the varsity girls last night, they had a tough opponent, Chelsea. They knew going in that it was going to be just a tough game, but they stayed in it. They held their heads high, and they gave it all for all 4 quarters. So hats off to the Vikings.
Lady Vikings, yeah.
Brandon wants to know what's going on with his kid's school.
Sharp Park is, once again, procurement. So at Jackson High, the locker rooms are held up by lockers. Lockers have been the bane of my existence with construction. I think from our very first project, which was Northeast Elementary years ago, lockers were delayed, and they're still delayed. I mean, they told me lockers were going to be here in November, then in December, then in February, and here we are. And I'm, can I get it by the end of the year? A similar conversation though at Sharp Park. Not lockers. Right now, we were scheduled to open up the new wing. There's 5 new classrooms on the east end of the building. We were scheduled to open that up following spring break. Unfortunately, we're missing a fire panel as a control for the fire alarm in the building. And the fire marshal guaranteed will not give us occupancy until we get that installed. So they're telling me that procurement is now looking like we were hoping to have it in February and March so that it could be installed and we could be ready to go for April. And now what I'm hearing is it's likely June for that product. And that's the real holdup. We've got great craftsmen, we've got great contractors. A lot of people don't realize how much of the bond money stayed local here in town. We passed that bond for, we're going to round up $87 million. And we invested those funds, and we made a little more than $3 million in interest. So we'll call it $90 million worth of construction. Now of that $90 million, a whole bunch of it goes into computers and desks and chairs and design and so on. But about $60 million of that goes into hard construction, and of the $60 million, about $45 million is local to Jackson.
That's
somewhere
great.
within 30 miles of where we're sitting right now. And that's a lot of money that really just comes reinvested right back into our community, right back into our own workers, our own companies, and so. But that's where we're at right now. And those procurement delays cause ripple effects, right? Like if I'm waiting for the fire panel to get installed and I can't move into there, I can't then activate the guys who are going to tear down the west end of the building. And so that's a whole crew of people that we got to delay those workers. And by the way, you can't delay companies for very long because they've got another job already scheduled. So if you say I can't get you to start for 2 weeks, well, they're going, well, in 2 weeks I'm going to be on this other job.
Sure.
And so you've got to then find where you can slot it back in. The ripple effect that's the greatest challenge, and we're coming to the end. I think we've got this project over at Sharp Park, and that should be, now it's going to be a busy summer, that should be completed before school starts. And then we've got some work we're doing over at SCMV, South Central Michigan Virtual. I don't know if you're aware of South Central's. It's the mall location that we've got right there in the movie theater entrance between Target and the rest of the Jackson Crossing. That program has exploded. We started there back in 2016 with about 78 kids, and we're over 500 kids right now.
Wow.
We have multiple full-time staff out there that do reading intervention and math intervention and counseling and guidance, and so the host of wraparound services has grown and grown, obviously, with the number of students, and it just continues to grow because we don't just service Jackson Public Schools students. We service students from around the county, but not just in Jackson County. We have kids from Kalamazoo and Battle Creek and Ann Arbor and Lansing and St. John's, and so we serve a lot of homeschool families who just want curriculum, who go, look, I really want to homeschool my kid. I want to be in charge of my child's education, but I need the resources. I need that curriculum, and so we provide the laptop and the curriculum and the Wi-Fi and so on. And so we have a lot of families who seek us out for that. Because of all that, we're looking at some new space in the old Sears property.
Oh.
So that should be nice for us as well, and that will hopefully kind of wrap up some of our construction as we kind of move in. But we've met with the staff, we've taken a look at the needs, and I think you're going to see some neat classroom spaces, some opportunities, because unlike virtual education where everybody says, well, they're just staying at home. That's not the way it works. If you're not keeping up with your virtual education, you have to come into the facility. If you are struggling in math, you come into the math lab. If you're in reading, whether elementary or secondary, you're coming in working with a reading group because we've got reading specialists on site.
Right.
So it's Jackson Public Schools teachers, highly certified, highly qualified, who are working with all of these kids to help them succeed.
A lot of great things going on. Thanks for all the updates.
Thank you very much.
JPS Superintendent. Oh, is there going to be school tomorrow?
Let's hope so, but right now it's depending on the degrees of the temperature out. We're getting close.
All right. JPS Superintendent Jeff Beal. Up next on the show, we are